This episode is brought to you by FX's Feud, Capote versus the Swans. Inspired by actual events, the series tells the story of Truman Capote and the women he betrayed. The original housewives. They were society's most elite women. Rich, glamorous socialites who defined a bygone era of high society New York. From creator Ryan Murphy, this drama series features an all-star cast, including Naomi Watts, Demi Moore, and Diane Lane. FX's Feud premieres January 31st on FX Stream on Hulu.
Like a fine wine, your house should age well. I'm Kelly Wilkness here with Anita Joyce, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks, episode 443, Designing for the Long Haul. Today we're going to be giving you tips for designing a truly forever home or a multi-generational home. You'll be hearing design advice and tips for creating a home that will serve the needs of older relatives and stay in step with your own inevitable march of time. While it might sound very so practical, we're going to show you how to make these choices with style, of course, because a forever home isn't about decorating with just timeless style. It's also about designing with time in mind. A very, very big thank you to all the veterans, because if you're listening the day this episode comes out, it is November 11th, 2020, Veterans Day. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for everything you've done for our country.
Thank you for your service, and we salute you.
And we must give credit to Darcy H., who came up with this wonderful topic for us to discuss on the episode today. So thanks a lot, Darcy. It's a really interesting topic, and Anita and I really enjoyed researching it, and I think that a lot of the information we'll be sharing today is really going to be helpful to a lot of people, especially now, because during the pandemic, there have been a lot of families who, because of desire or necessity, have combined. So there's a lot of multi-generational living going on.
Right. And when we built our house 7 years ago, I mean, my mother is in her 80s, and I did think about this when we were building our house about what would happen if she had to move in with us. So I really did, and I'll be talking about some things that we did so that if she did move in with us, it would work for her in her later years. Of course, the joke was on me. She's doing fine. She lives on 40 acres and she's having no problems. So,
right. She just finished.
It was a waste of time, really.
All right, let's get on to the tips and advice.
Yes. How about using door levers instead of door knobs? So, my mother-in-law in her later years had arthritis pretty bad. So, if you've got arthritis, it's going to be hard to use your hands very well. So a lever is going to be easier to use to open a door than a door handle. And then also, she's not elderly, but my daughter, Elise, has Down syndrome. And so she has, some fine motor issues. So for her, that's a lot easier.
The obvious one that everybody thinks about is just get a ranch house, everything on one floor. But you don't necessarily even need a ranch home or just a one-story home. Try to design with the idea of having a nice sized bedroom and a full bath on the first floor. Even if it's converting a current room, maybe you have an extra study or a kid's room or something that was a playroom. When you're choosing a home or when you're thinking about renovating your home, think about how you might incorporate those two very important rooms on the first floor.
And it's interesting you say that because when we were designing this house, we're on a very small lot. So, with our house, everything's got to go up. So pretty much we had to put our master bedroom and bathroom up on the second floor. But the study downstairs, we did design so that there is a door on it. It's the hanging doors, like barn doors, but they're old antique French doors. So there are doors there. There's a closet. And then the other thing we did was make sure downstairs we have a full bath, even though the tub, it's one of those clawfoot tubs. So it's not real practical. If my mom were to ever move in there, we'd probably need to change out the tub. But we did keep that in mind. And, at least the bathroom is there. So, you wouldn't have to go through putting that in. But it's interesting also, you talk about you don't have to have a ranch house. Because the other thought was when we did the garage apartment later on, I thought, oh, well, that could be where my mom lives if she had to move in with us, because I talked to my builder about it when we put it in, and he said, you could put an exterior elevator on that for about $10,000, which is no small amount of change. But when you compare that to adding on a whole room on your house, it's not bad. So, and it's not only something we would do if we had to, but, there are things to do. Yeah.
Right. And just like growing with your house in all ways, first you have a nursery, and then you have a kids room, and then a teen room or a playroom or things like that, or you change over a study into something else. This is something you could add on later on. So you have the foundation. You could put this exterior elevator, like you're saying about the bathroom in your first level. You could change the tub out to something a little bit easier to get in and out of if you need to, but all the pipes are there and the plumbing's there. So that's so much about what we're talking and giving advice to you today on is sort of laying the foundation, having the thought. You may not act on it right now. Anita was not going to put in a $10,000 elevator, just to go up and podcast with me. She could use the stairs, but it's in place.
No,
the structure is there. You could do it. So these are a lot of the things that we're talking about. You might not, run out and then get all lever hardware and change all your doorknobs today if you don't need it, but that's an easy change. But other things like plumbing and whatnot, not so easy. So you want to have the forethought to think, is this going to be the house I'm going to be in for the rest of my life? Would an elderly relative want to or need to come live with me? So,
well, back to the elevator, I just want to add one other thing, because I know some houses are done this way. I live in the city, and so there's when they put in new houses, some of these lots are extremely small and they go up. Some of these houses are 3 stories tall. And what they've done is put the closets all on each floor. All the closets line up. And you know what that means is that then if they wanted to put in an elevator shaft, they could. It's already designed for that. So that's something to think about too. If you think you might want to put in an elevator shaft, put your closets on top of each other when you're designing your house.
Wow. See, I would never have even considered that. Yes. But again, great.
Isn't that interesting?
Information to have, to tuck away, whether you use it or not. It's great information to have. There's some family who lives in some gigantic house that my daughter knows, and they have an elevator in their house. Now, I think it's just for convenience, or maybe their house is just so giant they need an elevator. But honestly, if you have an elevator, all the kids think you are the snazziest person on planet Earth to have a home elevator. Like, whoa.
I would think so.
Your street cred goes up really high, no pun intended, if you have an elevator. So we're talking about the elevator on the exterior of Anita's house as a possibility. So let's talk about the exterior. So if you're purchasing a house, maybe you're purchasing it as a new house later in life, or you are purchasing a house with the idea of making your living situation multi-generational and staying in the home for a long time. Think about, what is the exterior made of? Is it something that's going to require a lot of maintenance? Maybe you want to look at brick homes. No maintenance. You don't paint or a German wash or something on the outside. It's brick. You never have to do anything to it. And as far as the garden, install, if there's not already there, some very lovely evergreen foundational shrubbery. Try to limit the lawn as much as possible. Try to just keep the maintenance low. And, that goes for any age. Particularly if you're not interested in gardening or landscape design, you just want it to look nice. The less lawn you have, the easier it is to maintain it, the less costly it is. You don't have to hire somebody. So all these things are things you should just keep in mind as you're going forward with your own home, or if you're going to purchase something.
Excellent thought on that. And back inside the house, I'm thinking about the light switches. And rather than the old style light switches, you can go with the rocker switches. So the old switches maybe are about a 1/4 inch wide is the switch that you flip up and down, but the rocker panel, you tap the top or tap the bottom, and that's something, again, doesn't require a lot of manual dexterity. You can tap it with an elbow, so it's really much easier to use. And while we're talking about the switches, you can always, so that you can see them better.
Oh yeah, that little dot, right? I know when my electrician was putting them in, I kept telling me I didn't want those. Maybe that was a bad idea. Maybe down down the line. When I'm the little
You were
old lady
thinking
in
you were young and
Pasadena,
vital.
I'm like, where's that light switch? I wish I had that tiny little light. But I was like, I don't want those. Let's look into the bathroom, because that's a place where, you have a lot of choices and a lot of decisions to be made. So maybe you decide to go with a less slippery floor, maybe something with a more textured tile, perhaps not marble, that's very slippery, and maybe something with more grout lines, even though we recently talked about how much I don't like grout, because that will give you a little bit more traction. There's also something I learned about while I was doing the research for this is antimicrobial countertops. Now, that would be nice for anyone. I mean, maybe less cleaning, also less worry about germs being passed around. But there are 3 that I have learned about that actually have these types of properties in them. So Style Stone, it's baked right into the product. That's a man-made countertop.
Do they put it in all of them, or is this an additional thing that you can have added?
Well, that's an excellent question, and I would have to delve a little bit deeper. But my understanding is that all of the Style Stone has that. But, you're right. It might be, Category 5 has that, and it costs you a little bit more. So I don't know. If you're really interested in that, dive a little deeper. Copper, the metal, and also certain types of Wilson laminate. So you could have a look at those. Yeah, it might be something that you might want to consider. How about no-touch faucets?
And you know how much we love those in public restrooms. I don't want to touch anything there.
As Anita mentioned earlier, with dexterity, it's just easier. What bothers me about those, and I wonder if you had them in your own home, how you could set them, because sometimes you're in a public bathroom and you've really thoroughly washed your hands. My kids were taught in elementary school, like, sing happy birthday. And when you're done with that, then you're done washing your hands. So even if you're singing all the way through happy birthday and washing your hands, the water keeps flowing. And it makes me very upset. I'm ready to leave this public bathroom and the water's still going. And I'm like, that just seems like such a waste to me. So
really?
I'm sure if you have your own, you could sense it.
No, I have the opposite problem. I'm putting my hand there. Nothing's happening. I'm like moving it up and down and backwards and forwards and doing a dance, and nothing's happening. Well, there's certainly another element that can go malfunction, because now you have an electronic element that can malfunction. So they're probably not going to last as long. But, if you need that, then maybe it's worth doing anyway. So what about a comfort height toilet? So that's something. And, if you get a comfort height toilet, then the other ones don't make sense to you anymore, because the other ones are like 4 inches off of the floor. And then you're like, why don't they make all of them like this? But it's obviously for someone who has a difficult time getting up and down, they don't have to go up so much to sit up from there.
Look at how much she's talking about toilet.
I know. I'm wincing. I'm just cringing the whole time. But you know what? You forced me into it.
You went pretty deep there for you, I have to say. That was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying. I know. I'm really working on desensitizing myself to the whole discussion of the bathroom. Of course, we have to do a topics on the bathroom.
We just did a bathroom update. If anybody hasn't listened to that, I think that's a really good one to listen to. Yes. Okay, here's one you don't have to worry about any other electrical or any other components. How about a shower bench? It's a really nice thing to have anyway, and it could be really useful for someone down the line to have something where you could either, if you had to, grab on or have a seat, or, put your leg up to shave your leg or whatever you're doing in there. It might just be a good element to have in there for safety. Perhaps, sometimes you see the bathrooms and they have all those grab bars and all that. That's not that elegant. If you have to, you have to, but maybe the bench will just do enough.
We're only doing this stuff if it looks good. That's right. Well, what about a walk-in shower versus stepping over a tub? That's a real safety hazard for people who are older to step up over the tub. That's a real place that accidents can happen. So if you have room, or you can do a walk-in shower, that's going to be much safer, and the less of a threshold to walk over, the better, because again, people, for example, dementia patients, they don't pick their feet up as much as other people do, and they just kind of slide them. kind of do a bit of a shuffle. So, you do have to be careful with that.
Okay, good tip. Yeah, no curb showers. Maybe something you can just walk right into. We did that out here in the barn because the extra shower in the bathroom that my mother-in-law would use when she comes to visit, it has, again, like you, the clawfoot tub. So really very pretty.
Very
but
pretty,
hard to
but
get into. You kind of have to be an Olympic athlete
Yes.
in a sense because it's very high. And then coming out when you're slippery and wet, not so good. So when we designed the bathroom out here in the barn, we didn't even really think that she would necessarily be, living here full time, but even coming for a long-term visit. It's so nice. She has her whole own place. It's all on one level. She can,
Nice.
walk right into the shower, walk right out, come right out the door. There's no steps, nothing. It's really easy.
And I just was thinking about going back outside. Again, you can do a ramp. If you have steps up to your porch, you can install a ramp. But again, it's not a pretty thing. I mean, I'm not going to do that unless we absolutely have to. But that is definitely an option outside.
That's a good idea. Let's see. How about talking about the kitchen? There are lots of things that you can think about in the kitchen. And again, may not be things you want to do right now. I'm certainly not going to change my vintage stove to an induction cooktop. But, if you are creating a new kitchen or you're creating a mother-in-law suite or a guest house or something like that, or even in your own kitchen, might be something you want to consider because induction cooktops, they have indicator lights when they're on high heat. I think it's a lot harder to forget to turn those off. They may even turn themselves off if you get a really snazzy one. Also, task lighting. And stay tuned in this episode. We're going to have a fantastic offer from Lamps Plus that you might want to check out, whether you need task lighting or any kind of lighting. So stay tuned for that. But task lighting in the kitchen is wonderful for anyone. And certainly as people age, it would be a really nice thing to be able to really have a bright light on what you're doing, whether it's chopping or maybe reading a recipe or something like that. So under counter lighting is a wonderful type of task lighting to have in your kitchen. Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. And let them know your friends at DTT sent you. Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add Dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health, potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months.
And what about putting drawers in instead of doors underneath your underneath your countertop? Because if you have the doors, you have to squat down, reach back. Again, there's a lot of mobility issues with that. Whereas the drawers, you pull it right out. It's so much easier to get things in and out. In fact, we went ahead and did that in our kitchen when we had the house built, because no matter what age you are, I mean, no one wants to crawl down on the floor and, lay down on your back and reach your hand all the way back there to get who knows what's back there.
Yeah, and along the same lines, wall ovens are a great idea. No bending.
Yes.
It might be a lot easier, if you're pulling out something, just to be able to pull it out and slide it right over onto the counter.
Wall switches, outlets. Just think about the locations of these, because it may be that the switches on the wall are up too high. Maybe you shrunk 4 inches.
I think I'm still growing.
So you need it down a little bit lower, or maybe. Oh, I'm sure you are. But the other thing is, again, if maybe somebody's had a stroke or something, they can't reach their arm up that high. That's another option, is to move that down lower. And then where you're plugging things in, you might even want to move some plugs, some outlets up where you don't have to bend over to plug things in. So these are all things that you could do. Again, some of these things you're probably not going to do unless you really have to, but there's certainly something that you can do. Or if you're building your house from scratch, these are some things that you can add in if you want to.
Yeah, that plug mold that I am such a fan of, that I have done right under my upper cabinets, right behind the under-counter lighting. That might be a great option. Now, honestly, that is probably the only thing in my house that is comporting with any of the tips and advice we're giving today. So my 3-story wooden Victorian is not really user-friendly. And maybe more lower cabinets, or in the lower cabinets, adding some pullouts or those lazy Susans, things to make the items in there, whether it be pots or pans or food supplies, a lot more accessible. We are not huge fans of no upper cabinets, primarily from a design standpoint, because that's a lot of open shelving. If you're, replacing the cabinets with shelving and you have to make it look nice all the time. But hey, it is a lot easier to get things from lower cabinets than standing on a step stool or balancing on the countertop like I was the other day. So none of my step stools are tall enough.
Right.
So I step stool, and then I step on top of the counter, and then I'm reaching up to the top and I'm pulling things out. When I'm 100, maybe that's not going to be a great idea.
No, but I do the same exact thing. So I totally get where you're coming from.
I know. We're going to have to listen to this episode, really. Take your own advice, ladies.
What about motorized shades? Same sort of thing. If you have limited mobility, you might not be able to lift your shades up and down every day. So that's an option where you can use a remote control or use your phone to lower them, raise them and lower them. A lot of people have smartphones where you can turn lighting on and off. And I was just in my daughter's bedroom. She has one of the newer ceiling fans in her bedroom versus ours is not newer. And she has a remote in her room that turns the ceiling fan on and off and the lights on and off. And there's one switch she has 2 lights in there. So she can do everything right from bed. I mean, how is that for easy use?
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I just got actually a ceiling fan from Lamps Plus, and we're going to put it in the gym that we transformed the garage to a gym, and that one has a remote. So I'm excited about that. I don't have to have the little pull, and I didn't have to pay for the electrician to put in an extra switch. So I think it's a really good option. Carpet runners. Again, not a thing I have. We love the fuzzy socks, especially now it's getting colder. My daughters and I are always wearing the fuzzy socks, but you have to be really careful coming down the stairs, whether it be barefoot, shoes. Well, we don't wear shoes in the house, or fuzzy socks. But we've
Yes,
covered that.
we've been
already.
all over
But
that.
maybe a stair runner. I've thought about it, but from a design perspective, I really don't want one right now. But again, it's something, obviously, I have the stairs. I could get a stair runner. That's an easy one. It's kind of like changing your doorknobs to door levers. If you had to, there's gorgeous levers out there. You do not have to sacrifice style. And I actually think a runner, sometimes I think I really need a runner and they're so beautiful. And, I should get one from Annie Silky, or I should be getting one from someplace. I haven't done it yet, but maybe I will. And, if my mother-in-law came to live with us and she was going up and down these stairs all the time, I would definitely put a runner in.
Well, there's some other things you can do if your stairs are slippery. It's not really pretty, but you can buy these strips to put on your steps that are no skid. And we did end up putting those on our steps up to the garage apartment because those were extremely slippery. We just had them repainted, so now they're good. But with the old paint, it was just very slick, and it was a real hazard. So you can buy those strips. I just got them at Lowe's, so they're easy to find. The other thing you can do is, the codes say you need to have a handle on one side going down your stairs. But, if you have somebody who's got kind of, some stability issues, or if you're somebody who's older, you think about putting a handrail on both sides.
Yeah.
That's just going to help.
Yeah, and that's probably an easy install as well. How about wider doorways? So harder to do if you have an existing home or one that's particularly one that's older like mine. The doorways are just not wide. But if you're building a home or you're looking to buy a new home, think about that. Obviously, open concept might be a really great way to go because you can roam freely about. But think about perhaps a wheelchair. I mean, anybody could need a wheelchair for any reason. You could break your ankle running a marathon and need a wheelchair for a while. But if you're not living with someone who's older and you're in the stage of your life where you've got kids, it's great to have wider doorways for things like strollers or things like that. So if you're rolling something into your home, like into your mudroom or something like that, it might be just a great idea overall. But again, when you're planning your home, if you're building one, if you're buying one, just having this information in your storehouse of things to think about is just a really great idea because we just don't know what the future is going to bring. And if your home is going to be accessible and comfortable and safe for everyone at all times, that's a great thing.
Yeah, and then one other thing I had to mention, going back to the bathroom, is a thermostat, setting your thermostat so that it's not going to scald anybody. And this is great even if you have small children, but if you have someone older or you have small children, you would want to put those, turn the temperature down so that you don't have to worry about somebody accidentally turning the temperature up too high, which can be dangerous.
Excellent point. Yeah, I do like a hot shower, but I guess you can control it from there. And then in the bath, I don't think it's in our new one or current one, but in our old house, there was actually a little red button that was on the whole shower set that I had chosen. And you had to press that in to get it to go over 100.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. Well, I think that's smart. Well, and there's so many controls like on the immersion blender now. There's like the ones we buy now, there's 2 buttons you have to push rather than just one. So, it's nice to have those safety features on there if you have, again, kids or somebody who might easily get hurt.
Well, thinking about everything we talked about today, my house is a complete failure on all accounts, except maybe the plugs.
No, I'm shocked that your Victorian beautiful house does not meet these standards.
No, my 134-year-old house fails on just about every account.
It probably had arsenic in the wallpaper and all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Don't lick that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Asbestos.
exactly.
We won't even get started with all that. But yeah.
But nobody lived that long then. They weren't considering these things.
Something's going to get you, right?
But my back house definitely has a lot more of the features, if you will, or I made a lot more of the design choices that we talked about today. So I'm glad that we have that for sure. And it's really definitely a very comfortable place for my mother-in-law when she comes for her extended visits, which I'm so sad she's not going to be able to do this year because of COVID. But when she's able to come back, we will be all ready. So we hope that you really got a lot of good information today, things, food for thought, so to speak, and things you can consider. We want to thank so many of you that have stepped up to the plate for our DTT opportunities to support the show. We really, really appreciate everyone who has taken the time and been so generous in doing so. And we hope that you're all the people that came in at the $50 level are really enjoying their crush list and you're pouring over it. And maybe you're getting some great Christmas ideas and things like that from the 200 crushes that Anita compiled for you. So there's a lot of great things to shop, a lot of great things to watch and read and enjoy. So thanks again for everyone, whether you came in at the $5 level or you came in at the crush level, and we are still waiting for a tipster. We want to record with one or more of you. So if you're interested in supporting the show in that way, click on through in the show notes and you can see all the opportunities that are there for you to become even more of an integral part of decorating tips and tricks. Do we have a hot topic?
Of course we do. We've got 2 links today. There's 2 articles, but the topic is the same, and that is tea advent calendars. So I chose an article about some advent calendars with tea in the U.S., and then an article about these calendars that you can buy in the U.K. And I'm thinking, the kids, they just love the advent calendar so much, and I'm really not interested in the calendar with the little chocolate in it, but I love the concept of opening up a little door every day and getting something out. And how fun to get one of these gourmet calendars and try a different tea flavor every day.
The kids are going to love it.
For the kids.
I'm teasing you.
It's for the adults.
I know. We can have some fun too, right?
Get the chocolate ones for the kids, and
Yes.
then you get these for yourself.
One year, I just had decided it was just too many sweets and too much this. So I got an advent calendar that was just, they opened it and it was like a little saying every day.
No. How did...
Wow. Let's just say there wasn't a mad rush to the little cardboard advent calendar that year.
Buzzkill. I mean, Kelly...
I know.
I mean, why don't you just put broccoli and cauliflower behind each door?
Exactly. What was I thinking? Really?
No, Kelly. No.
No, we went right back to the chocolate the next year. I think we just binged on chocolate the whole rest of the Christmas season.
That's just, I'm so disappointed that you would do that.
I know. I'm really sorry. My daughters once went and got invited to a birthday party, and the mom, this is a complete aside, but we had recently moved to California, so we were just getting to know people. So they got invited to this birthday party of this little boy down the street, and his mom seems super nice. And of course she was super nice, but they get to the party and, it's the time when the cake comes out, and she had organic banana muffins for them.
No.
Yeah. My girls will never forget that. So I'm sure my choice of the quote advent calendar will go down in the annals of really bad decisions like that woman's
So like at
banana
Halloween,
bread.
do you hand out those little individual packets of salad?
No, I've never seen that. No.
Because I'm not coming to your house.
I think one year we did, pumpkin pencils and maybe, like plastic spider rings, but that's not good either because you're putting plastic in the landfills. But I digress completely. Let's get back to your advent calendars.
No, I mean, just take a look at them. I think they're fun. The Whittard one really piqued my interest. Fortnum & Mason, of course. And they might have Fortnum & Mason calendars at Williams-Sonoma. They have a lot of Fortnum & Mason products. When I was in London this time last year, they had a massive one that was so pretty. It wasn't even that expensive. But I just thought there's no way I'm going to get that thing on the plane coming back. But anyway, I love the idea of these.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. Let's talk about our crushes.
Are you going to go first?
I'll go first, sure. Mine is our new sleeper storage sectional that I got from Interior Define. I may have mentioned to you all that I purchased a new sofa for out in the barn, but I didn't want to use it as a crush or really recommend it highly until we had lived with it for a bit. So it's been several months, and I love it. Everyone loves it. It's so comfortable. It's not a U, or I guess it's sort of a modified L because it has one chaise, but you can opt for obviously lots of different fabrics, and you can opt for different cushion fillings, and you can opt for different widths, and you can have the chaise be on either side. The other great part is, as I mentioned, it's a storage. So the chaise section opens up kind of like a chest, like a home chest kind of thing, opens all up. And so the entire expanse is available for you to store whatever you want. So, but I'm putting all the bedding for the sleeper part in there. And so what a wonderful place to be able to squirrel all that stuff away, because I had it in an armoire, and you're talking about a duvet and pillows, sleeping pillows, and all kinds of extra stuff. So it's been fantastic. So I highly recommend it. I'll put the link to the one that we chose in the show notes. But again, they have lots and lots of different fabrics. So check them out. Interior Define.
Awesome. Wow. Well, I'm excited to read about that because, we might be getting one soon. Who knows? We'll see. But I'm very excited to see because, you don't know what you're getting until it shows up. So I'm excited that you got it and you love it.
No, it really is sort of a risky proposition to buy a big piece of furniture, an expensive piece of furniture. I should say it was about $3,500. But I think, that's kind of, unless you're doing IKEA or something that you really think you're not going to use for, many, many years. And you're like, oh, maybe this is for the playroom or whatever. I think that's probably on the lower end of what you're paying for sofas. But buying something like that online is a little scary because you just don't know. And it was, at the beginning of the pandemic, I certainly wasn't going to stores to sit on sofas. So we just went for it. And I'm really happy that we did. BritBox just keeps getting better. The new Archie is amazing. And it's not the comics. It's about Cary Grant. Archie is the brand new limited series starring Jason Isaacs as Archie Leach, the man who became Cary Grant. From the award-winning screenwriter of Philomena, Archie tells Grant's born in Britain, made in Hollywood story, the dramatic grit to glamour transformation that led him to become one of the most famous people in the world. You are going to absolutely love the acting, but also the styling, the outfits, the scenery. It's the first time his story has been told in collaboration with his daughter Jennifer Grant and ex-wife Diane Cannon. The performances from Jason Isaacs and the rest of the cast are amazing, and it's only available on BritBox. So sign up for BritBox today to stream Archie and other fan favorites from any device. And we have a special limited time offer for our U.S. and Canadian listeners. Get 50% off, yes, that's 50% off your first month when you sign up for a monthly plan. But only if you go to BritBox.com and use our promotion code DTT at checkout. You're going to love Archie. So head over right now and get 50% off your first month of BritBox. Use the promotion code DTT at BritBox.com. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants.
Not as exciting as a new sofa.
Oh, I'm sure it's very exciting.
But, I had advent calendars on the brain. And so I just started looking at all these really fun adult, and when I say adult, I mean non-chocolate. Okay?
I don't want to.
That's That's what I mean.
I want to open those windows.
That's what I'm saying. So
don't stop listening right then, because you would have a different impression of what Anita's talking about. You have to keep listening.
Okay, let me rephrase.
Please,
I
try that
was
one
looking
again.
at gourmet
There you
calendars.
go.
How
Okay.
about that?
Okay,
That's
yes.
really what I meant
That's
to say.
much better.
Ay, ay, ay. Golly, I have to be careful what I say. Okay, gourmet calendars. And I found this one online, and I actually got mine yesterday. And I'm so excited.
Have you opened any windows yet? Have you cheated?
Well, this one does not have windows, so let
Okay.
me explain what it is. It's the Bonne Maman Advent Calendar. I'll include a link to it. And it unlike regular, the Bonne Maman, it's jam. So it's kind of heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Each jar, each jar is an ounce, and it's got 24 jars. But they're kind of heavy, so they didn't do the doors. So actually, it looks like a cute house when you get the box.
Mm-hmm.
Then you open up, when you pull it out, they're not doors. So you just kind of open them up and you see there's 24 jars of various, they're all these specialty flavors. There's a honey, there's several different, like there's verbena. I can't remember. I'll have to think about it. But there's just some unique flavors that you don't normally see from Bonne Maman. You usually see
because normally you've got the cherry, the strawberry.
the 4 fruit. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, this one, I'm so excited. There's so many different flavors, and each one is a different flavor. And this is just something they do. I don't know if they did it before, but it's just something they do for the holidays. And all these little jars, I like the little miniature things. They're just so cute, and how fun. You get out your tea from your Advent calendar, from your tea calendar, and then get out your little jar for the day of your jam and put it on your toast. And what a yummy afternoon snack.
Truly is the little things. Now, are the jars the little size that maybe you would get if you ordered room service?
Yes, they're 1 ounce jars. Or if you go to high tea somewhere, a lot of times it comes in these little individual jars.
They're so cute.
And so I'm pretty certain these are going to sell out. So if you want it, I would get it very soon. Plus, you're going to need it for the first of the year. But no, I had small bread, but I had enough. There was plenty of jam for, I would say,
Small
3
bread.
3 small gluten-free slices of bread. It was enough.
Again with the bread. All right.
I know, probably.
Did you
maybe
make it
2.
yourself, Anita?
Well, not that bread, but I do make mine, but, as
thank
you
God.
know. But no, I know. But anyway, it's just so cute. And then, we use the Bonne Maman, the regular size jars, for drinking glasses later, because it's just the right size for juice or something. I know. So you could use these for, we don't take pills, but we do our little supplements, and we put them in little cups. You could use that, or use these for that. So they're all 1 ounce. So if you need something to measure 1 ounce, there you go. And it has the cute little lids on them too. So
yeah, the little gingham, red and white, right?
Right. Well, red and white. There's some red and white lids, and then there's some kind of raspberry and white.
Oh, super cute.
Yeah, and then the honey has a blue and white.
Oh, darling. Okay, I think I might get that.
I think you need
it. I'm always getting what you suggest. So today we normally have a listener question, but we had a really great tip come in, and then an email with these before and after pictures that just really deserves a shout out. So first, our tip is from Leslie. So Leslie is doing a follow-up on a crush that Anita did recently about Emily in Paris, which is a show that you can watch. And I don't recall what is on, Anita. Is it Netflix or something like that? Where can they find it?
It's Netflix.
Okay, so
it's a Netflix show.
So Emily in Paris on Netflix, Anita had recommended it. And so
I was recommending a podcast, but that was something they were talking about on the podcast.
Oh,
but go ahead.
Okay, great. I stand corrected. But anyway, Leslie jumped on board there, and she's telling us, if you're watching Emily in Paris, then you really should watch this YouTube channel. We need to talk about Emily in Paris. So we will link to that. I have not watched either one, but it sounds like fun. So that's on my list of things to do. Maybe I'll be jamming up my toast and making a cup of tea in one afternoon and watching all of these things. It sounds delightful.
You go.
And the shout out is to Christine E. Christine sent us the loveliest email about a week ago, and a file of all these before and afters of her home. And Christine, you knocked it out of the park, and we are just humbled that you feel that we had a part in you transforming this basic builder grade home into this fabulous home for you and your family. So Christine's saying they just moved into their first house in Round Rock, Texas, and she is in a master plan community, and she hated the idea of living in a home without charm or character. She started listening to DTT before they moved in for inspiration and has since become an avid listener. She says that DTT has helped her transform her 2009 builder-grade house into a home where they will create so many memories and begin to grow their family. Thanks to both you and I, Anita, and before and after pictures of the progress. Christine, thank you so much. You definitely made our day. I pored over your photos, and I have to ask you, is that dark navy that you used in your dining room Hail Navy? Because it is gorgeous. I would love to know the color. So if you're listening to this, kudos to you. You did a fabulous job. Thanks for listening, and definitely give me that color. I would love to know what it is.
Yes, thanks so much, Christine. And thank you for listening. And remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
I want to remind you that we are available for design consults. We take on your design dilemmas, questions, renovations, any project you want to talk about, any room, any space. We are here for you. And we really do enjoy doing these. And I think we've helped people a lot. So if you want to sign up for a consult, head to the link in the show notes. It's decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. We hope to talk to you soon.